Alabama has a long history of producing amazing defensive players. We saw Will Anderson Jr. last year, who was one of the best edge rushers I have ever seen come out of the draft. We've seen a plethora of defensive backs get selected from Alabama. And 2024 is no different, as they have a number of very solid prospects that are going to the NFL. We already touched on Kool-Aid McKinstry in another video, who is a fantastic cornerback prospect, so be sure to check that one out. But today we are going to take a look at edge rusher Dallas Turner, a super athletic edge rusher with tons of potential and a guy who looks like he can be a future star in the NFL. But hey guys, if you are new to the channel, I am doing 2 of these prospect spotlights every week at 2 p.m. Eastern every Friday and Saturday. So if you guys enjoy the NFL draft content, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you never miss out on a video. But without further ado, let's get into it. In 2022, Dallas Turner, playing on the opposite side of Will Anderson Jr., showed some real flashes as a potential star off the edge. He had 5 sacks and 23 tackles on the season for the Crimson Tide, yet it still felt like his game was missing something. So far in 2023, Turner has taken a pretty big jump up, and he looks to be much more disruptive on the tape this season. He already has 8 sacks, which is more than his total last year, and 17 tackles on the season, and he's been pretty dominant for Bama this year. Turner has excellent size for the position. Standing at 6'4", 242 pounds, he has an excellent frame for the edge rusher position. He has really long arms, wide shoulders, and he is pretty dominant in terms of his frame. His arms are what really stand out though. He has extremely long arms, which he is able to use to leverage himself and help him disengage with blockers, and I really like to see that. He has tremendous upper body strength, and he's going to be really solid based just off his size. Turner also has great speed off the edge. He has a quick release off the snap and immediately gets his hands up and is engaged with the offensive line. When he does disengage, he gets to the quarterback pretty quickly, which I do really like to see. He is rumored to run in the 4.4s, so with a mixture of his size, speed, and athleticism, I think that's going to be very intriguing for teams that are going to buy into Dallas Turner in the pre-draft process. Another thing Dallas Turner does very well is defend the run. In all honesty, he's one of the better edge rush defenders that I have studied. He seems to be constantly in the running pile, consistently be in the backfield, and he's always there making a play in the run game. He sets the edge very well, doesn't allow anything on the outside, and in that regard, I think it's one of his best strengths. He's an excellent run defender off the edge. Turner also does a really good job in zone coverage. Alabama played him a lot as an outside linebacker last year, which had him playing a lot in zone coverage, and he did really solid in that role. I think if a team decided to play him in a 3-4, he definitely will be able to play zone coverage. I think that's something he does surprisingly well. There are some areas that need to develop more in Dallas Turner's game, in my opinion. For one, it's his pass rushing. Still, while it has improved dramatically from 2022 to 2023, it's something I do worry about with him. He doesn't have many pass rush moves, which is where I think the issues lie. He becomes too reliant on his strength and his athleticism, and he does not have many moves. He doesn't have a spin move, doesn't have a swim move, and I want to see that develop for him. While he's still a good pass rusher, and he's got 8 sacks on the year, I don't think his biggest strength is his pass rushing upside. I think his running ability and his ability to defend the run is better than his ability as a pass rusher. While he's done a very good job at getting skinny between the tackles this year, I just don't see too many moves from him, and that's an area I do worry about. That's my biggest concern. I want to see him get some moves, and if he had a good swim move or a consistent spin move, there's a real chance he could be pushing for that number 1 edge rusher spot. Turner also dealt with some missed tackles that showed up from time to time for me. Well, I don't think it's going to be a major problem for him. It's definitely something I wanted to take note of. And then I did notice a lot last year especially, a lot of his pressures come off blitzes or broken plays. Like I said, his pass rushing has improved some this year, but this once again is a result of a lack of pass rushing moves. He struggles to shed blockers from time to time, and in a blitz situation where he gets a run start, can use his speed and athleticism to help him disengage with blockers. I think that's where he's going to thrive the most. Turner is a disruptive run defender, and he's an athletic specimen. I think there are quite a few things to really buy into with Dallas Turner, and he's young enough to where I think he can develop some moves. So I'm in. Dallas Turner is my number 12 player in the class, and he is my number 2 edge rusher. Turner can play on the defensive line in the 4-3, and I like him there. He's been playing a lot more attached to the line of scrimmage this year for Alabama, and he's been very solid. But I think he may thrive as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 a little bit better. This allows Turner to get that running start we talked about into his rushes, and the team is going to be able to use him as a blitzer more often. He's also going to be able to drop back into zone coverage, which I think is a strength for him. I think he's pretty versatile. I think you could play him anywhere, but if I was a GM, I would want to play him in a 3-4. My player comparison for Dallas Turner is Uchenna Nwosu. The Seahawks edge rusher has great speed off the edge and has really been a disruptive force for the Seahawks over the last couple of years. Turner is a little bit bigger, he's a couple inches taller, but I think in terms of play style, they have very similar skill sets, so I'm going to go with Uchenna Nwosu as my player comparison for Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is a monster. There is a ton in his game that you can really fall in love with. I can get on board with the edge one conversation because he is so athletic. I'm excited to see how he develops as a pass rusher. He's going to be a really good player in the NFL, and even with a lack of moves, he has shown he is still able to get to the quarterback just based off his athleticism. Ultimately, I believe Dallas Turner will be a top 20 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.